Hi everybody, Sin City Renee here. Itchy, I've got a rash. I did a video earlier about suicide and fibromyalgia, and crazy enough, I got an email saying, in response to that, they, didn't really know my story, and I hadn't really thought about it. I had put my story about fibro and chronic fatigue in my support group, but I realized, and it's all over Facebook, of course, but I realized that I hadn't, done anything, really said my story on YouTube or on my blog. Excuse me. So, in a nutshell, a lot of people say, that fibro is caused from depression. And in my case, that wasn't it at all. I had a few little, signs and symptoms of it throughout the years, but nothing really that they could, fit together, the pieces of the puzzle. So what happened was, in a very few short months' time, I lost my stepfather, my 12-year-old Rottweiler. We had to have put down, and two of my best friends were killed in car accidents, separate accidents, but within a very short amount of time. So I was also doing reptile rescue here in Las Vegas, so we had a house filled with, snakes and iguanas. And I was also running a business with my daughter. We were making soy candles and bath and body products. So, aside from grieving, life was pretty good. Aside from, that's about the time that the economy tanked. And anyway, I went to bed one night, and the next morning I woke up broken. It literally, seemingly happened overnight. I was very, very sick and having horrible bouts of IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. And, to talk shit for a minute, I was having horrible chronic diarrhea. I was vomiting. My whole body was filled with pain. And so what do? You go to, the emergency room, which is what I did. And, of course, they, misdiagnosed me with this, that, and the other, and my white blood cell count was a little high, so they thought that it was an infection. And to make a long story, really long story, 8-month long bedridden story, very short, they kept giving me antibiotics, so much so that my tongue actually turned black. They kept giving me all kinds of different medications. I saw over 50 doctors. I went to every single hospital here in town. I was exhausted. I was out of breath. I was weak. And I just kept begging someone, please, please help me. I am so sick. I am dying. And because that's really what I thought was that, I had told the hospital at one point, they had accused me of being a drug seeker, and which is very common for us. And I told them, nobody is going to figure out what's wrong with me until the medical examiner gets a hold of me. And then I said, oh wait, we don't have a medical examiner here in Las Vegas. We have a coroner, and they are never going to figure out why I died. My family will never know what killed me. Finally, one of the nurses said, you need to get out of Nevada altogether if you want to get a diagnosis, because the doctors here in this state are the second worst in the United States. So I packed up. My mom had come out to Las Vegas to be with me, and my youngest son, and we went to Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale, Arizona. I was suicidal. I hadn't been depressed before I got sick, but 8 months of being bedridden and, sobbing your eyes out every single day and begging the, medical community to please, please help me, do something. And nobody had any answers, and finally I couldn't take any more. when I finally got the diagnosis of fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, I didn't believe them. I thought they were crazy because I thought that fibromyalgia was a disorder that was all in your head. And I knew that I had real pain. I knew that I was really sick. And the doctor, I mean, he kept touching me, and it was like, ow, quit it, ow, quit it, ow, quit it. And he, I'm sorry. And I said, no, you're not sorry, or, you wouldn't keep doing it. But it was a really, really horrible time. And, they say, oh, depression causes fibromyalgia. Well, fibromyalgia caused me to be depressed and suicidal. I was asking my family to watch over me during the day while I slept because my body clock had gotten turned around, which also is extremely common for us, by the way, because I was afraid I wouldn't wake up. I really, really thought I was dying. I was so sick and in so much pain. I agreed to try the Lyrica and the Cymbalta for 2 weeks. I put off my suicidal thoughts and thought, okay, I've given him 8 months. I can do 2 weeks. And by that time, I was feeling a little better, and they finally, kind of got my situation under control. But it's a hard road. And that diagnosis, when it came, I told the doctor straight up, he said, this isn't rocket science, this is fibromyalgia. And I said, you are as batshit crazy as they say I am. I didn't believe it. And what I've come to learn is that none of us believe it at first, because we think that, there's got to be something more serious wrong. As bad as we feel, there's got to be more. And the truth of it is, until you kind of accept that diagnosis and get on with the, grieving process, you just don't heal. So, I really didn't quite know what to do when I was diagnosed. All I knew was that I had put off my plans for suicide for 2 weeks. When I went back into the doctor, because I knew that once they said chronic and forever, there was no cure, and that I thought, I'm out. I'm not gonna be a burden on my children. I'm not going to be a burden on my husband. I'm gonna cash out and let them get on with their lives, because I don't want them to have to take care of me for the rest of their lives. What I didn't realize at that point was that, the medications do help you. And you can, most people get back to some semblance of a life, but I really didn't believe that would be the case with me. And, but like I said, I agreed to give it 2 weeks. And then when I went back to the doctor and I told him that, he had literally saved my life that day, because I was within an hour of committing suicide. That diagnosis is a really hard one to hear, because, like I said, I thought fibromyalgia was all in your head. It was a mental disorder. It was depression. It was, emotional. It was attention seeking. All of these things I've, been accused of, and most of the people in my support group that I started on Facebook have also, which is something that I really never understood. I mean, they say, oh, it's for attention. Or now the big thing is they accuse you of claiming to have fibromyalgia so that you can get a medical marijuana license here in Las Vegas. For attention, that really just makes me really laugh inside and kind of roll my eyes at these people who claim, it's for attention, because anyone who really has fibromyalgia, most of the time will hole up in their bedroom, in bed, because it's the most comfortable place to be. We get overwhelmed very easily by lights and noise, and it gets to be too much, and we go off to be isolated. And like I said, normally that's in our bed where it's the most comfortable for us. So attention, really, when you have the all over body flu, and you go to bed to make yourself feel better. Do you really want company at that time? Do you want phone calls? Do you want, people coming and bugging you? No, you want to be left alone. You want to be left to heal. And that's where we are. We want to just be left alone. And that's where, that's why I started the support group on Facebook, because most of the people out there are just like me. They're in their beds, but they missed the friends that they lost, because all of my friends but one or two ditched. They were like, I'm out, I can't handle this. And I don't blame them. I had to cancel plans of meeting for lunch or going out for drinks or whatever, and I was too sick to go. And eventually people stopped calling. So the friends that did stick by me, I know that they are real friends. So, but anyway, that was why I started the support group online, was because there are people out there just like me who are in their beds, who, still want to be a part of the world, but are too sick to be a part of the world anymore. So I thought, if they're on their computer and they can connect with me and I can help them in some way, rock on, that's what I'll do. And you'll notice in the support group, on Facebook, you can find me at Sin City Renee, and just let me know to add you to the support group. But we laugh, we joke around a lot. Yeah, we've got each other's backs and shit, but we have fun. We like to joke around and stuff, and nothing is really too serious, and we laugh because, we'll say we talk shit a lot. Well, IBS is extremely common in fibro, so it's happened to all of us, so there are a lot of things, a lot of quirky things that we have in common that, people don't realize. One of the first things I said was, man, I've got a doctor's appointment today, and I hate the blood pressure cuff. That is like the one thing that I dread almost the most. And come to find out, most of the people dread the stupid blood pressure cuff, because my arm will ache for days and days after that. So, but like I said, that's my story in a nutshell, and we pretty much, take everything as it comes, and if somebody needs help, we've got their back, and we know that when we need help, they'll be there for us. And it's kind of turned into like a big family. There's men and women, and the men, typically don't say too much, which is, again, pretty common. But one of the things that I've noticed is that fibro is very, very hard on relationships and marriages, and it's very hard, because like me, I'm in pain. I don't want to be touched, and here's your spouse thinking, well, we could have sex, and it's like, really? Nah, that's all right, you do you. It's very hard on relationships, and especially where people don't understand where we're at with fibro. We're in pain, we get confused, we are short-term memory, that's like right up there. We might as well all be like ex-hippie pot smokers, because we have no memory of what happened yesterday. Fibro fog is a really big thing, but mostly it's the pain, it's the exhaustion, it's I'm really thankful that my kids are all older, and I think my youngest was 13 when it hit me, but I had homeschooled my kids, and so I was really fortunate that they were all older, and thank goodness, because I wouldn't have the energy to keep up with little kids now. But so yeah, this is me, this is my life, that's my story, and in a nutshell. Of course, I'm in my jammies. It seems like every time I go on camera, I'm in my pajamas, but you know what? That's real. That's my life. This is what I do. This is who I am. I'm just like you. I'm very sick. God, I have this rash. It's horrible right now. I'm all itchy. It's making me crazy. But yeah, like I said, I'm just like you, just a little crazier, probably with a little more foul mouth than you have. You never quite know what's gonna come out of my mouth. which, I found kind of keeps people on their toes, keep them guessing. Am I in pain? Yes. All the time, every minute, every second of the day. Like I said, I'm just like you. And nothing special, nothing different. I, did start the support group on Facebook. I am all about getting awareness out there because these clinics and shit that are out there that, we're a fibro clinic and we can cure you, that's bullshit. And I always say it to their face. I've talked to scientists, and they're like, we have no idea. I checked into one of these clinics, looked into it, and it's like $800-900 a month for their fucking vitamins, and that's crap, honestly. Listen, if there was a cure, it would be all over the news, okay? Don't fall for this crap that says, we can cure this and we can do that. They can't. They're giving you false hope, and that makes me angry and it makes me crazy because right now there is no cure for fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome, okay? Realize this. There is no cure. They can manage your disorders, okay? They manage our symptoms. And yeah, you might, you will obviously feel a little better, hopefully, but these clinics, stay away from them. I see them all over Facebook. They message me because I've written a book. And, they want me to promote them or do this or do that. And I won't, because it's a lie. I've contacted the top scientists, when I was researching for the book. And these scientists and doctors will tell you, we don't even think those clinics know what the hell they're doing. They're just offering false hope. So please, please don't fall for that. It's a money scam, and they know that they can prey on us because we're sick. And we want hope. We want to get our lives back, okay? And I understand that more than anybody. I want my old life back too, but that's not the answer. Do not waste your money on those clinics. They're lies. Okay, so now that I've vented and gotten that out, like I said, I started the support group. I've written the book about our quirks and everything, and I'm in the process of writing a second book, which is a little more children friendly, so that your kids can understand, maybe your husbands can understand, because the gods knows fibro ruins relationships, it ruins families, and yes, there needs to be a cure. But most of all, what we need is understanding. Our spouses, our families, our children to know we are not the same person that we were. We are not. And we can't do all the things that we used to. And we don't have the stamina that we used to. We're still, human beings. We still have feelings. A lot of us are very emotionally fragile. Which was one of the things that kind of surprised me. Like, I know that I've always had kind of a knee-jerk temper. But a lot of us are kind of like on the verge of tears constantly because we are in pain and we are exhausted. Sorry, God, I'm so itchy. So, we are emotionally fragile. And that is something that I've tried to keep in my head at all times, to, be kind to people, because you don't know at any given time what you say might really, hit somebody hard. And especially like on Facebook where you're typing to people and people can't see if you're laughing or joking or smiling. Be very careful, what you say. It can be taken the wrong way. And we all want the same thing. We want understanding and support. So anyway, that's my vent. That's my story. Nothing different than you all, I'm sure. We all have about the same story, basically. We went to bed, we woke up, we were sick. I don't know what happened in between there. There are a lot of symptoms. My body clock flipped. I want to sleep during the day and be up all night. The pain, the IBS symptoms, of course. There's just a lot of course, symptoms that make up the one disease, and we all have those in common. So, if you need to talk or need to vent, look me up on Facebook as Sin City Renee. Sin City is all one word for some stupid reason. I was kind of dumb when I wrote it, I guess. And then just let me know to add you to the support group, and I will do so. So until next time, have a great day, and I will blog or YouTube to you very soon. Thanks for watching.